soul. It is well, it is well with my soul.
Modernization of the military is something that will be on the front burner.
Dr. Edward Kofi Omane-Boamah was nominated as Minister of Defense by President John Dramani Mahama on January 21, 2025.
There are people who innovate a lot. There are people who, when supported, they will be able to do more for us. And so we will put all the balls in the air and ensure that our army is strengthened to be able to aggressively and timeously face any external aggressors.
Facing the Parliamentary Appointments Committee with calm resolve and deep insight, he was unanimously approved on January 30. The very next day, immediately after the president's swearing in, Dr. Omane-Boamah reported to work, meeting with the entire staff of the Ministry of Defense.
For the period that I'm here, I'll be your lead advocate. Support me so we can support the president to ensure the defense of our country and within and also against external aggression.
On February 10, 2025, he embarked on his maiden official visit to the Ghana Army headquarters at Bema Camp. There, he engaged with military leadership and key personnel, signaling a firm commitment to understanding Ghana's defense infrastructure and the people who hold it together. Soon after, he held his first meeting with the members of the Defense Press Corps, seeking to understand their roles, challenges, and how best to collaborate for transparent, accurate defense reporting.
Let's try as much as possible to limit the invitation for the Ghana Armed Forces to step in and do things that the Ghana Police Service can do for us. If we did this, your work will be easier. You will not, Mr. President, be saying that I cannot go to this place or that place because I'm unable to take sides. We will get them into the zones where they must work very well. And we believe that if we all agree as a consortium of the willing, we will use Ghana Armed Forces more productively.
In just a few months, he visited nearly every major military installation in Accra, laying the groundwork for a nationwide regional tour to assess all defense infrastructure across the country.
We expect a very high degree of discipline and professionalism from the Ghana Armed Forces, and that we cannot compromise. And let me also repeat, this discipline also means not providing guard duties for individuals who are not permitted.
Despite his brief tenure, Dr. Omane Boama welcomed several international dignitaries and security partners, reinforcing Ghana's commitment to global peace, diplomacy and security. His final official tour took him to the Ghana Military Academy, where he engaged directly with cadets in training.
We are confident that you will definitely make it, you will definitely get there and become the officers that will make Ghana proud.
He later visited the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center and finally the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College, where he expressed grave concern over missing military ammunition.
Ammunitions belonging to the Ghana Armed Forces that in our recent past have gotten into hands that are not authorized. I spoke about the 2024 transfer of ammunition from the Ghana Armed Forces to the then National Security without due consultation and authorization, which the present National Security Coordinator is seeing to that investigation. Just when I thought that was being addressed, we have uncovered another one. And in that case, theft of ammunition. And that was even before the 2024 transfer of ammunition from the Ghana Armed Forces to the National Security. I'm bringing these issues out there for us to know that the ammunition found in the hands of civilians may not just have come from the ingenuity of those civilians securing them, but may have come from complicity of people who are tasked with responsibility. And so the investigations are ongoing.
Dr. Omane Boama was known for his passionate speeches, full of energy, clarity and conviction. He was a tireless advocate for the welfare and dignity of Ghana's military personnel, drawing from a rich background in strategic negotiation and health policy. He introduced a people-centered leadership style to Ghana's defense sector. In just a few months, he exposed hidden legacy debts in the defense sector, initiated a recruitment plan for 12,000 new troops, proposed major welfare and housing improvements for service personnel, sought a €50 million security support package from EU partners. Then came that tragic morning. It was 8 a.m. on August 6, 2025, when Dr. Edward Kofi Omane-Boamah arrived at the Air Force Base in Accra. He was en route to Obuasi for a mining policy engagement. Dressed in all white, the minister asked his bodyguards and the ministry's cameraman to stay behind. There wasn't enough space in the helicopter. With a signature smile, he shook hands with the crew and waved as the chopper took off. Little did he know, it would be his final wave to his staff, his country, to the world. From the staff of the Ministry of Defense, members of the Defense Press Corps, and the entire nation, we say farewell, Dr. Edward Kofi Omane-Boamah. You served your country. You led with vision and heart. You are forever in our hearts.
peace.
هنيئا لإبراهيم ملاها هلاله، هلال بدا للناظرين جماله، هلال الربيع في إجابة. هنيئا لإبراهيم ملاها هلاله، هلال بدا للناظرين جماله، هلال الربيع في إجابة. هنيئا لإبراهيم ملاها هلاله، هلال بدا للناظرين جماله، هلال الربيع في إجابة. هنيئا لإبراهيم ملاها هلاله، هلال بدا للناظرين جماله، هلال.
حسين مصباح من الهداة، سفينة تمضي إلى النجاة. ای چشمت آشیان کهکشانها، عطر زیارتت بهشت جانها. تو حجتی و نبض کائناتی، چراغ عشق و کشتی نجاتی. المبين الحسين مني هدمت هجتي لمز کائناتی چراغ عشق و کشتی نجاتی ذكره في كتابنا المبين الحسين مني أنا من حسين.
When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever, my Lord, thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well with my soul.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Good morning. Today is Tuesday, the 12th of August, and 12th of August 2025. This is the day the Lord has made, and indeed we're glad in it. We'll say a big thanks to the Almighty God, or to the Most High, for giving us another rare privilege of returning here to join the nation's conversation on the big issues that are trending in our dear country, Ghana. My name is Audu Moore, and it's always a pleasure to come your way. A kickstart. I'll just go straight ahead and look at what the newspapers are reporting this morning. Daily Graphic has prophecies. Christian leaders urge caution. Asantehema Nana Konadu Diadom dies at 98, 1 week observance on August 21. Forensic testing, Ghana's DNA profiling capability limited, lab scientist. And then Shelter Afrique ordered to pay Blue Rose for breaches. The Ghanaian Times, Asantehema passes on at age 98. Government invites tributes for victims ahead of Friday's funeral. Book of Condolence vigorously finds Galamsey to honor memories of helicopter crash victims, Dr. Bampo. The Daily Guide, NPP pulls out of Tamale Central by-election. Asantehema Nanama Kunedu Yadom III passes on. Helicopter crashed after 3 attempts to land. Kumasi Mayor. 2 arrested for possessing 519 parcels of narcotics. Soldier, 6 other remanded over fuel tanker robbery. The Insight. Xenophobia. SMG condemns calls for expulsion of Nigerians in Ghana. That's the Obuasi tragedy, truth over hysteria, justice over propaganda. Ghana mourns, but Veep inspires the nation and calls for united strength. More than 500 people arrested after Palestine action protests. Lower West Akim MP, NDC executives mourn tragic deaths of 8 in helicopter crash. 350 pupils honored for outstanding performance at 14th UCMAS national competition. The New Republic, $100 million Game Boys charged in US set to lose everything and face life in jail. Prophecy brouhaha, clergy clash over new prophecy directive. Financial stocks poised for bullish rebound. Analysts project strong week. GBC workers give retired DG 10-day ultimatum to vacate office. And the Daily Post, police service says helicopters are flying coffins, still grounded. Defense committee member. Ablakwa, helicopter crash, a tragedy of monumental proportions. That's with the Daily Post. And finally, the last but obviously not the least, is the Business and Financial Times. Ring fence legacy debt to protect bank's capital. Dr. Chiahine warns recapitalization efforts meaningless otherwise. Goldfields planned long-term stay boost local investment. Digital city could be pegged to gold cocoa reserves. That's Professor Alagidede. And as BOG leveraging gold to hedge debt risk, restore confidence. And then you have the Dragon's Gifts or Trojan Horse vial, the purpose lesson of Z9 helicopter tragedy. African youth leaders to showcase agri-food innovation. So that's it for the front pages of the newspapers that we have this morning. Please stay with us. This is Good Morning Ghana. I'll let you in on my guest shortly.
I'm here at Mycom JA Limited to show you the Promethean Active Panel, the ultimate tool for corporate institutions, hospitals, schools, and your home. With its crystal clear 4K display and an unbreakable screen with an ultra responsive touch technology, this isn't just a screen, it's a game changer. For corporate institutions and in schools, this active panel can be used for Zoom meetings and PowerPoint presentation. And oh, your homes are not left behind. You can use it to watch all your favorite programs by just connecting to a Fire Stick, and you can get access to channels like Netflix and Amazon, and voila, you are in there. At Mycom JA Limited, we provide you with the best quality products from the United States of America with 1-year warranty. You can get an active panel at a discounted price of 18,000 Ghana cedi only, and it comes with a Fire Stick, a webcam, and a micro system. You can locate us at Chado Container behind the Trade Fair. Visit Mycom JA Limited today and elevate your tech.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kelkit Toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kelkits, happy smile.
I'm a brand manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about appointed time printing.
Appointed Time Printings. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines. Our rigorous inspection, color verification, and overall printing excellence are assured. 20 years of printing excellence. It's always a pleasure working with you to create a vibrant, dazzling printing experience that gives you a masterpiece. Appointed Time Printing, your world of quality and affordable.
na owo wonu kwa enim de o ye no afa no enti bintimi ko nyan ne funu no efunu na mukura so atete enti ye keke sisi ani kura wontimi nkai de o she bo she me de me kare se asase transit ye twamako mo amugire jam kutekita camera mo se sibisu mo man nye TikTok ngwaza bo de me koto amo twetwe me nkwa ne hia mo ye twamo ti se de o kwa broche US and Holland no transit to Dubai 2 hours de me aso a okofuru pria ko asase ye bia ko ti mo mi nya nanti twetwa ne no ye MPP NDC and fashion ma yetiase yenka ne kran kire minister for energy say president Mahama Shane ni munya mo hwe no yenka ne ye no nya ase edum na ye mo no no din gina poni din no ne ye bo president Mahama din yen ndo ye ho yen kosi kusam panifo ne yenka ka no mo nya de pa na de ma hunu enno na me wo boase obi na me wo boase krom obi no program na me wo bi na ewiase ye mfa nko ba bia ra mo me no do ye ho ate ewiase edi ba bia ya itwamako
ye hu say utaye ni videos ba Dr. Edward Omaneboama utaye ni videos
we di papa ana maka say owu na nim ne oye na kani papa say Omaneboama ade na su owu ni obi o party mu abone aye ne ma onu wani pepe say o kan bi na aye campaign Boama aba na ba o fe ko wo mfa na di papa say o fe no fa wo do owu pa o hwe di papa men mu nya for sifitawi na di obi ana sia pro pa na ku gere si white aye
na why did he
unzo owu pa so why ka me hwo so isi am bo a sentry ne be chi di ye nyina nyi papa ne asase ye be transit ye twamako bra ye twamo udo bi ka kutua amane ko bodua wanto awate wafo bi nya kwampa pare chew obi dwale nkote tew wate
na ata wo kutia de obi
me je say be de yen fani ye isi nyina mo me nya ade be tse wiase ye din yen kwanam me si a chia mo
goodbye, 'cause this one needs forever. And now you're in the stars, and 6 feet never felt so far. And here I am alone between the heavens and the embers. Oh, it hurts so hard for a million different reasons.
We are still live on Good Morning Ghana on the Metro Television, and my guest already seated. One of them is here, and I'll be introducing him. The other one will be joining us shortly. Dr. Thomas Winsome Annaba is the MP for Garu, and he's taking time of his very busy schedule to join us this morning. He's understandably black, the black apparel, because we're all mourning, aren't we? Good morning, Doc. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing very well.
Yeah, good morning to you, and good morning to all Ghanaians viewing us and listening to us. Yeah, I'm doing okay in the midst of all the challenges. We have to continue serving Mother Ghana and save their portion that they left for us. Yeah.
we have a lot to talk about, but before then, since this is the first time we're talking to you post the unfortunate and the very tragic event of 6th of August, as we've done with most of the guests who have come on our shows, we want to know what is their story, basically where you were, how did you hear about the story, and what was your immediate reaction, you know, what are your fond memories of the these gentlemen, I call them the gallant soldiers of this country who've laid their lives in the line of duty. And when the last time you spoke to them, what was are there any conversations that now is beginning to play back with sort of maybe perhaps gave you a certain indication that they themselves knew that your time was up? Because I've heard all kinds of things. People have called me privately. Yesterday I was at the mosque and a gentleman approached me and said to me about a conversation he had with Murtala a few days before the tragic event. And it's now beginning to make sense to him, you know, and so on and so forth. So I'll ask you about that, and then we'll take it from there, because as you do know, I think it's about time we ask what I believe are the big questions and the hard questions, because at the end of the day, you and I would have to agree that never again, you know, never again. And we know investigations are ongoing, but we also, it is well within our right to ask what we call the critical questions. You know, what we could have done rightly and so on and so forth. You see, because these things have happened a number of times, of course, not at this monumental proportion, but it is also because we haven't asked the right questions, the critical questions, in order to affect what had happened today, and so on and so forth. So let's start the show with the earlier question I asked, and then we can move from there and look at some other issues. Of course, Daily Graphic, it's one of the angles we want us to look at, the prophecy angle. We're now beginning to learn that 3 attempts were made to land, the aircraft to land, how it didn't land, what happened. Investigations will show. And we also know about government inviting tributes for victims ahead of Friday's funeral, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, how did you hear it? Where were you? How was your reaction? And which of them was the closest to you? Fond memories, conversations, etc.
Thank you. I think that very day, I left my house in the morning to go and meet Murtala.
Oh, you had a meeting with Murtala?
I had a meeting with Murtala that day.
At what time?
I was supposed to meet him in his office around 11 o'clock.
Around 11 o'clock?
In the morning.
Did he mention to you that he had a trip?
No. The last Monday, I went to his office to discuss certain issues that I understood, and I wanted him to have full knowledge. He asked me to prepare a document and bring it. So I woke up, dressed with my driver. We drove and got to his office. Then I left the driver down and went up the office with the document. Then the secretary in front of his office, they told me down that he wasn't there. He had just stepped out. Then I got up and the secretary said he had gone out to do something and that you could come back around 4. So when he said that, I said, okay. I then moved straight to the Ghana College of Nurses and Midwives to meet with the rector because I'm a member there, board member there, to discuss certain issues regarding the college. Then because I was in a meeting, I put my both phones on silent. Whilst I was there, I didn't know that my phone had rang several times, many people calling me, but I didn't turn the phone. That is how I am when I'm in a meeting, very serious meeting. I don't like interruptions. So I got into the car when I came out. When I flipped my phone, I saw more than 30, 40 missed calls. So the one I saw called me several times, I picked it. He said that there was an accident of an helicopter, that many of our leaders were crashed to death. I said, wow. Then he mentioned the names to me and that I should verify. In fact, he first mentioned Muntaka.
Yeah.
And that we should cross-check. I said, okay, let's wait for official information. So I tried to call several people. and no one was giving me actually who and who. But that of Omani, he confirmed that of Omani, but he didn't know the names of the other. It was there that I saw an official post about it. But among all of them, I think I was very close with Muniru. I was very close with Mutaka. Omani, because of his medical professional background, we normally meet in meetings and other things. But of late, because of the Boko issue, I have been close to him. We've been communicating once in a while.
You mean Murtala?
No.
Initially, when you mentioned...
yes.
You mentioned, before you mentioned Omani, you mentioned Murtala.
Yes.
And you said Muntaka. It's actually Murtala. You wanted to say Murtala.
No, the person told me it was...
Muntaka, yes.
Muntaka, but later on, yes, I got to know it was rather
Murtala.
Murtala.
Yes. Okay. All right.
So I was shocked. Then I quickly called back the secretary to confirm whether he was actually among the people going on the trip. She couldn't pick. I knew she was devastated, so I didn't bother to disturb her again. So it was really a big shock. The military officers and then the party vice chair, I meet him occasionally, campaign, you greet, and then the rest, but I don't have that strong relationship.
You're talking about Dr. Samuel Sapong.
Sapong, yes. After the military officers, actually, I don't have any connections.
You don't know them personally?
Yes. Muniru, I got to know Muniru as far back as 2012, when I was in Tamale. Remember the strike that I broke away the GMA into two, and then he was then the regional minister there.
Yeah.
So we had some rapport, and then
the northern regional minister.
He was then the northern regional minister, and we have been close since then. He's also married to my friend's sister, Mr. Ligbe, who is the STC CEO, and we are also very close. So we frequently meet in his house. When his wife is in Tamale and the rest, they come to my facility for services. We've been having chats, and then the rest, even JM, I link with him to JM and then the rest. So I have that relationship with him. Mutala, because he's from Tamale, and I know he's a very strong comrade. I'm a lover of our founder, Kwame Nkrumah, and you know he's an ardent defender of Kwame Nkrumah. In Tamale, I live there, and I relate very much with his party folks, and then the rest, we discuss certain things, especially student issues. When the student activities is coming, I go to support them, and then the rest. So because of that, we have that serious relationship. Omani Boama, I tend to get very close to him when these Boko issues started coming. We tried to see how we could bring peace to the place. And actually, he was very receptive. He and Mutaka. So because of the Boko issues, I call them frequently. I send them text messages sometimes just to discuss how we can get peace in the place. So their death came as a very, very big shock. To go to somebody's office who said, come today, tomorrow, let's meet. You go, he's gone somewhere, you come at 4, and at the end, you hear that he's no more. So that 4 o'clock has never come for me. It's been so difficult for all Ghanaians, including myself. And as a party member, I think that I'm on with everybody. It is God's work that I'll see it. Very tough, because they're all young men. They're all young men, and with a lot of experience and skills in their various professions, in their various ministries, having to just go like that, having struggled for the government to come to power and just go like that, calls for a lot of retrospection, calls for us to listen to God carefully, also listen to science carefully. This tragedy, I will tell you that the last time I was in my hall with one of my colleagues, I tried to sip tea, and it was hot. Then it burned my lip. And quickly, I asked myself, just this small cup of tea, look at how I'm suffering. I asked myself, how was it for them? How was it for them? That is when I told myself and asked God, if there's anything at all they have done wrong on this earth, for what they endured, I think they have procured their tickets to heaven. That is how I felt. Because just a cup of tea that burned my lips, I felt it. Can you imagine that fire? I don't like to repeat it. That consumed them. We just have to pray that they have forgiveness for everything they might have done wrong on this earth. And find solace, find a place in the house of the Lord, so that one day, we'll meet them. So to all Ghanaians, let's pray for them. Let's speak with decorum. Let's bring about messages that would strengthen the nation, not divide us. We are always preaching for that. But most importantly, I know that they were going for an event related to mining. That was to bring about either complete elimination of Galamsey to save the country. And in that process, they perished tragically. I would pray that, like many others, we honor their souls by living and practicing proper mining in the country. I wouldn't say we should stop mining, but let's practice proper mining, guided by rules and regulations to conserve our natural environment and extract the resources that are in the soil. I know my leaders, my president, and all his appointees are devastated. We are all devastated. But may the Lord give them the strength. Let's run this country in their honor.
You know, when you talked about not in so much words, but you were sort of suggesting that this was maybe their destiny. I heard Muntaka Mubarak, the interior minister, stating publicly that apparently Dr. Manebuama had what you may term a heliphobia, but because it had to do with Galamsey, he said to hell with that. And then he boarded that helicopter. We know what happened. Did you know that about him?
Really, I didn't know that about him. Yes. So this revelation from Muntaka, I know we'll take it that it was really destined.
Yeah.
But I would say that from scriptures, from what we understand, most things, death is something that is destined in everybody. Just that you wouldn't know. In as much as you don't know when you'll be born, you wouldn't just know when you'll be going. But the only thing that I would say is that let's believe that it was natural destiny and not any other form of destiny. Let's just believe that for now and allow the science to reveal to us what might have been the possible cause. Remember, the object in which they went in and the pilot, according to what we read about the pilot, he had a lot of experience. And with this revelation that the helicopter tried to land 3 times, but didn't. Perhaps the pilot, out of his experience, thought that they could make it through the journey. And this is where, again, one would think that it's destiny, because we have one of the best pilots, had some attempts to land, had some occasions to cause the flight to land, and doesn't land and continue to move, and goes and meet his untimely death with others, one can strongly, or people can strongly relate it to destiny. Like Omani, who said he never likes to go on an helicopter, decided to go. It means he cared much about the damage, the destruction, illegal mining was causing to this country. So he wanted to put his life at risk. He put his fears aside. It means that there was something stronger than the fear he had for the helicopter, and that is ending illegal mining, eliminating illegal mining. That is a heroic decision. So I would say he died a heroic death and must be honored as such. I know of somebody who really would never take a flight to come to Accra. He would always drive. He tells me he can't. He can't and he can't. And he
doesn't feel safe.
It doesn't feel safe that he's in the air. He says, this place, it has no wings, it has nothing. What do I do? So let me say that he actually put the country first, like he has always done. Because you watch him from his studenthood, when he was in the university, the position he held, the fight he has gone through. At Amel's time, we saw how he campaigned for Atamels and worked with Atamels, worked with JM, how he worked for our elections this time. At least he made it very clear he was going to get us a victory, and got us a convincing victory with his team. Shows how patriotic he is. And you could see that even he was calm. You didn't see him jumping into issues, and then there is, when he's talking, he studies the situation before he make any utterance. I don't think there's any statement that somebody can bring about Omane Boama that is not patriotic. One of the last press conferences that he made was about illegal weapons, weapons getting missing, and then the rest. He made an emphatic statement they were going to go into it because he thinks arms have gone into wrong hands. It's not easy for a defense minister to come to public to make such a statement. It's very hard because it was handled by people who were there before you, and you come to make such a statement. It shows how courageous and how patriotic he is, because he thinks that those weapons might have fallen in wrong hands and people are using it to create problems, insecurity in the country. That is a very patriotic leader. And I think he has always demonstrated that. Muniru, as a great minister, as a regional minister, has always been so forthcoming. And I know how hard he has worked when he was the regional minister in Northern Region that time, and when he became a Greek minister, and then the rest. His security expertise, I'm getting to know of it, but I have related very well with him. He's a very nice gentleman, very humble, very simple. You meet him and he's not somebody who shows off. Alpha Mutala, he's more than a comrade, and he's more socialist and lives a simple, very simple life. How did you see Mutala exhibiting a flamboyant lifestyle and all that? And I can tell you something I heard about him when I got to his house. He bought a plot in 2012 and built the house slowly and ended building the house just some few months before we won elections. And even moved into the house when it was not externally painted. That is, I see his life to be somebody who is really patriotic. I know of students he's sponsoring in Tamale to go to school, a number of them, some medicine. He gives himself to people. He sacrifices for people. And it is not a flamboyant house that you may think. I've been to the house and I've seen it. To take over 10 years to build such a house shows that this man really lives by what he says. If you listen to some of the clips that we are hearing these days, that if you spend people's money, God will charge you. If you do this, going to see the house and the number of years they told me it took to build it tells me he's more genuine than we thought. And even if you go to his office, the simplicity and the way he attends to you, unlike you may go to somebody's office and say, oh, you have to wait and do this. If he just say, oh, this person is here, even if he's attending to somebody, he'll zoom to tell you, I'm attending to somebody, I'll come and attend to you. Very simple person, very humble and hardworking. May their souls rest in perfect peace.
I recall the last time he came on our Saturday program called Inside Pages. Must have been a few weeks ago. And we talk a lot after the show because it's not everything he can say on air.
Yeah.
And one of the things he said was that he has actually made a few enemies because he's refused to take bribes. People have come with all kinds of offers.
Yeah.
And he's declined. And so they don't like him, but he's fine. He's fine.
Because being a minister in the previous government, and you couldn't complete a house, during your opposition, you struggled to complete it. Shows that what he was saying was not mere saying. He was walking the talk, and I hope that we'll all go by that.
Someone brought him, I don't know whether I should say this, but somebody brought him money.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
And he said to the person, in fact, the person who brought the money was not the person who needed Murtala to do him the favor.
Yeah.
So this person is more or less like an intermediary. Yeah. And when the person brought the money to Murtala, I said, no, he's not interested. So he should take the money back to the person. Then, when the person was leaving, he asked the secretary to call the person back. Mm-hmm. And then told the gentleman that go and tell the person who gave you the money. Mm-hmm. And I said, I want to meet him in person.
Right.
So, yeah, lo and behold, the person attended, on him.
Yeah.
And he said to the person that, look, I am aware of A, B, C, D, but I want you to know that I've given the money to the person you have sent to me to be given back to you. Has the person given the money back to you? He said, yes. I said, okay. What do you want from me? I do not intend to take the money to help you as your servant.
Yeah.
Because for him it's unacceptable.
Yeah.
And he helped the person.
Yeah.
And took nothing.
I will not doubt this.
Because he couldn't trust if the person would send the money back. You see, people take money on behalf of people all the time.
Yeah.
And then come back and tell you that, it's sorted.
Yeah.
Aha.
I wouldn't doubt this because his lifestyle and the way I know him actually demonstrates what he is, what he did. And then even looking at the explanation I've given about his home, how he constructed it over 10 years, actually demonstrates that he doesn't need to get corrupt money to live his life. He lives a simple life. And
that's one of the things the two of you. It's one of the things the two of you share in common. I know you don't want me to say this. Integrity and modesty.
Yes, for Murtala, I like him because of the rest. Manitu was a gentleman. I know all of them. Muniru likewise. So that's.
As for Alhaji Limuna, anytime we meet at the mosque or I go to his house, he's always talking about the fact that everybody must remember that the next second is not given. And he says that repeatedly, and I'm like, Alhaji, why do you say these things? He says, "Oh well, this."
No, but it is. We find it difficult to say it, but we can't. We actually, as we are walking, just like I've told you, you don't know when we are going to be born, and you can't know when you would go. Who knows?
Yeah.
We all just walking to go.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So, Doc, a number of things have happened. Thankfully, the black box has been retrieved. Initially, there were fears that we may not find them because of where the aircraft, crashed. And so it's been retrieved, thankfully. We are also aware that the forensics, the forensic analysis of the of the remains have been conducted, albeit outside of this country. There's a whole conversation around that. We'll talk about that. Outside of the country, it's South Africa. They brought it back. Initially was that of the two, the Murtala and Limona, for obvious reasons. Muslims want to bury early and so on. And then I think that the next day or two, we had that of the other 6. Now, we also do know that a board of inquiry has been set up by the president to investigate this crash. Of course, the Ghana forces will do theirs, but there's another board of inquiry that's been set up to look into this crash. We also know that the armed forces, in conjunction with the Ghana Civil Aviation Authorities, are currently on site, on the crash site, to basically, to help with the investigations that they are conducting. Now, interestingly, with the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, they do have what they call a rescue manual. Now, the rescue manual, the last time it was reviewed, must have been in 2007 or so.
Right.
And the rescue manual essentially is supposed to be like a guide or govern what they do in times like this, post an incident. Now, we'd want to find out whether that rescue manual was activated. And that's one of the things that I'm sure the board will be looking at. Now, we also do know about the reward scheme, which has been instituted by the regional minister. And for me, I love my heart to the regional minister. He's been fantastic, Dr. Makuhine.
Yeah.
Oh, Frank. Yeah. That gentleman, for me, is one of the heroes of our time.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's another conversation we're going to have. But yes, Dr. Frank Makuhine says, look, we need some part of the crashed, how do you call it, a heli. If you have it, bring it. We'll reward you. But they also give a timeline. If you don't, and we catch you with any of the parts, you would penalize you or would deal with you. So that's also one of the things that we want to look at. Now, fortunately, we're told that a lot of the parts or the wreckage has been returned. Now, unfortunately, before it was returned, some of the residents went there and contaminated, as we say it in investigators, contaminated the site. But I'm sure that the investigators will do their best out of the situation. Now, we're also learning, as you hinted earlier, today's daily guide that says that from IF Joe Ewa in Kumasi, it says fresh details have emerged about last Wednesday's fatal military helicopter crash at Adanse Brofuyedru near Obuasi in the Ashanti region, which claimed 8 lives. According to the mayor of Kumasi, Richard Ofuri Ajimambuedi, popularly known as King Zuba, the ill-fated helicopter made 3 unsuccessful landing attempts before plunging into a forest. Speaking on Akuma FM, Mr. Wedi said late Samuel Abuaji, a passenger on board, relayed the ordeal of the Obuasi Municipal Chief Executive MC via phone. The helicopter made 2 attempts to land at Obuasi airstrip and 1 at Ofuri Stadium, but each time visibility was too poor due to bad weather, the mayor explained. He recounted that Mr. Abuaji had asked the Obuasi MC to position vehicles at both locations to pick up the passengers, but later informed him they could not land. Now, moments later, news came through that the aircraft had crashed into the thick forest at Sikaman, Brofuyedru. Mr. Bodi also addressed reports about the handling of the victims' remains, confirming that some of the charred bodies were placed in cocoa sacks. Initially, all the bodies were put in body bags, but some of the bags were burnt by the excessive heat from the wreckage. With no other option, we had to place about 3 of them in sacks to move them from the forest. The crash site, he noted, was located in a mountainous area inaccessible by vehicles. Now, rescuers, including himself, trekked for about 2 hours, before reaching the wreckage and recovering the remains. Now, the mayor urged the public to be measured in their comments about the deceased, warning that insensitive remarks could further deepen the grief of their families. He also praised the extraordinary role played by the residents of Sikaman Brofidru in the rescue operations. They deserve national recognition. Some gave us free Wellington boots, while others abandoned their work to lead the way through the thick forest. Mr. Boidi singled out the Ekrofum District Chief Executive, Garba Mohamed Mustafa, for special commendation. He showed remarkable bravery during the rescue, yet he has not been given the recognition he deserves, the mayor added. Now, Doc, this is where I would need your expertise.
Right.
You know, because we all know what, who you are and what you've done for this country. Now, if you look at today's daily graphic, there's talk about, I told you we're returning to the issue of the forensics.
Yeah.
Forensic testing, Ghana's DNA profiling capability limited, lab scientist. Now, that story is on page 13 of today's daily graphic. Now, Augustina Tewia is reporting for the daily graphic that although Ghana has the capability and equipment to do standard DNA profiling, in extreme cases involving highly degraded remains, the country may lack certain advanced equipment and reagents, right? Or reagents? Reagents, great. Yeah. Reagents for specialized analysis. Now, a human identification consultant and infectious disease specialist at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital Central, it says, if we have this advanced next generation sequencing equipment here, then we can do the test here and save Ghana time and money, and also save the whole West African region, even to North Africans, right? Laboratory doctor, it says the Dr. Augustine E. Sego mentioned one of such advanced equipment to be the next generation sequencing equipment, which he explained was able to produce results with speed and highest accuracy. He said the country, however, currently lacked that type of equipment. In cases of this nature, referring to charred remains, we need the speed and the highest accuracy possible. So we need this advanced technology to help us identify the victims at a speed, because we don't have them. In some cases, we send the samples to international partner laboratories outside the country to do them, and they come at a huge cost. Dr. Sego was speaking an interview with the Daily Graphic on Ghana's capability to still do DNA testing. And yesterday, I believe, he spoke on Good Afternoon Ghana. Now, that's here on Metro TV, hosted by my very good friend and colleague. Okay. In fact, Annie is just telling me that in that interview that the gentleman actually suggested that we have a national forensic authority to deal with some of these problems. Yeah. Maybe if the authority wasn't existed, they would have insisted, because an authority, so they can borrow on their own balance sheet and so on. So they could have, procure some of these machines themselves. How did we not have this? Do you have any idea?
Bro, as for Ghana and our investment in the health sector, it's like a cancer. One government will start, another will come and stop. We don't give priorities to the health sector like we are supposed to. We have what we call Abuja Declaration that requires we spend 15% of our income into the health sector. We are hovering around 9, 10, 12, very low, until recently that at least health insurance was uncapped, and then the rest. We have problems in investing in the health sector. I would really say that it's a national problem. And these things together, we have to come and then ensure that we give proper attention to the health sector. It's not only to diagnose or identify charred bodies. DNA machines, like the type that they are requesting for, can be used to do a lot of tests, paternity tests, map out a database for a genomic database for the country, and then the rest. Relative, if you want to know whether somebody is related to you, and then the rest. We can do all those things. Who am I to doubt Mr. Sego? Mr. Sego, coincidentally, I served him in school. I served him as when I was first year in Cuba.
Okay.
He was my senior, and we've been friends since then.
Okay.
We relate a lot. I know he's very, very much interested in this. He's a very good expert when it comes to laboratory science and the rest. What I would say is that, yes, Ghana needs to rethink when it comes to health, both the human resource and then equipment and infrastructure. We are priding ourselves to be a gateway to Africa. We want to be a tourist hub. And we can perform some of the diagnosis within Ghana. If you will see some of the sophisticated laboratories that we do in Ghana, they are mainly owned by private companies. Some of them have some of the equipment outside the country, so sometimes have to fly the labs outside the country and come back. If it were to be a normal situation, government could have just taken the samples through the normal flight, DHL or whatever, send it and test and bring. But because some of the people who, our compatriots who perished in the accident, had a religious belief that their bodies need to be interred very quickly, I think that motivated the government to spend money to fly it privately. And let me say, when I say government, yes, somebody donated his plane for it.
Yeah.
It means it is money given to government, and government has spent it to go and test it and bring it. But COVID came to teach us a lesson about how we are neglecting the health sector. This disaster has also come to teach us another lesson. I think that if all governments, we had a strategic plan, a blueprint about how we want to develop the health sector to one of a standard that is internationally recognized, and implement it step by step, giving ourselves a look. In 10 years' time, we want our health sector to be at this level. Whichever government comes to power must follow that blueprint, must invest in that manner. I think we would have these things resolved. But this knee-jerk reaction we do, and we run this way, we run tomorrow, we do this, next tomorrow we do this, we need to have a blueprint. And that blueprint must be respected. And you can't just go and buy equipment and come and put them here. See, it comes along with the needed human resource. Not only the needed human resource, but even power. Some of these equipment are very sensitive to power fluctuations. We need to stabilize that.
Okay.
The people you are going to train can't just be one person. It must be a group of people so that there can be succession. In case one is ill, in case one retires, somebody takes over. Whilst we do that, we can do a lot of investigation. I tell you, in this country, we don't spend money researching. We don't spend money researching. Money doesn't go into research. The small researches we do here and is not what makes a health sector become very attractive for health tourism. No, we need to invest in the health sector. Set up institutions that when you are coming for health service in Ghana as a health sick patients for health tourism, you are confident that the turnaround time would be short and everything will be done within Ghana. Then you go back. We don't have that. So to me, we would not say we are blaming. I would not blame a single person. I will blame all of us for not pushing hard, including we, the doctors, including we, the scientists, because it is how you convince the sector minister about the importance of what you want to put in the budget that they would consider it. Perhaps we are not forcing them to understand that some of these gadgets, like the DNA machine that we're requesting for, is very vital for so many things. That is not, we shouldn't throw our hands in the air. There's some good news. Just yesterday, France 24 published that Ghana has built the first, African first genetic database.
What is that?
It means that a database to code the genetic tree of Africa. You know, all the genetic database we have in the world are on whites.
Okay.
But Ghana has so far successfully, with the lower grade machine that he was referring to, has successfully built African first genetic database. That database can help us to know if you have this type of gene, which diseases are you prone to?
can you develop this type of cancer? So when they test you and you fall within any of the markers of a particular gene, you can say that, oh, you, Mr. X, you can develop perhaps colon cancer. No, you can develop bone cancer. No,
and so that would then,
yes.
that would then inform lifestyle choices.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is a very interesting revelation.
Yes.
Just give me, endorse me briefly.
Yes.
I'll come back. You're live on Good Morning Ghana. Please stay with us. Don't go anywhere.
When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my Lord thou
At Mycom JA Limited to show you the Promethean Active Panel, the ultimate tool for corporate institutions, hospitals, schools, and your home. With its crystal clear 4K display and an unbreakable screen with an ultra responsive touch technology, this isn't just a screen, it's a game changer. For corporate institutions and in schools, this active panel can be used for Zoom meetings and PowerPoint presentation. And oh, your homes are not left behind. You can use it to watch all your favorite programs by just connecting to a Fire Stick, and you can get access to channels like Netflix and Amazon, and voila, you are in there. At Mycom JA Limited, we provide you with the best quality products from the United States of America with 1-year warranty. You can get an active panel at a discounted price of 18,000 Ghana cedi only, and it comes with a Fire Stick, a webcam, and a micro system. You can locate us at Chado Container behind the Trade Fair. Visit Mycom JA Limited today and elevate your tech.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson, Asamo.
Me didn't tum. Mr. Friendly Calico, just call me cockroach. Now, Mr. Friendly once now.
Hey, is that you? Improve car. Yeah. Captain Mosquito, double the action. Me did this sasso spray. Mr. Friendly sasso quell. Yeah, go to my sasso. Come tum preko.
Ebusiafo ye mama kwa aba eba Children's Palace. Nkwala nyema nyina fie enyi. Yonkwala ntade mani mema nyina ntare nyina wase. Yonkwala shoes, yonkwala duane, yonkwala wipes, yonkwala diapers, yonkwala toys, baby coat. In fact, bibia opama omanyina obenye biwa ase.
Located at East Legon Hills, Nana Chrome KFC. Contact us on 059 6377 172. Children's Palace. Happy children, happy fashion. See you soon. Bye bye.
What iPhone, Papa? You were home.
So open iPhones accessories papa dia menhwe baby ya
me mo akwaba ba EBA phones and accessories
Sebani EBA, yet on iPhones any home accessories. iPhone 50 XL cost 16 Pro Max. Accessories ye wo charger, AirPods, any iPhone home akadie nyina. Nyanoma ye ni sika pudu e de beto iPhone. Say ya nkrankre, boja, and na say aboye juma your phone nyina. For 40% beji iPhone biya ope. Na ni aka no, wo de bosome miensa, etua ne nkakra. E kwan ya obefa so de achi enyi. Dial *713*5571#. Oba, sheno so se wo de wo Ghana card. Ene nia e kire se wo ye adwuma. Hwehwe ye kire kwan e wo circle mo. Ene tip tolling ye ni modern photos enchen ho a. Afenso, se wo ba American Mall, ye ni odo right ene di nhwani. Kuma senso ye wo edum Central Prisons runabout Ejekum Abonsan ni mo. Freyen e wo numbers na ebu screen ni so no. EBA phones, no hassle cra.
Are you a headmaster, headmistress, parent, teacher, or an educator looking for high-quality textbooks for preschool, primary, and junior high school students? Look no further than Advocate Publishing Company. Advocate Publishing Company is a leading publisher of educational materials in Ghana that publishes very engaging, interactive, and comprehensive textbooks that meet the needs of students, teachers, and parents. Our textbooks are thoroughly published to make learning fun and easy. They are also designed to stimulate critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity in students. Make Advocate Publishing your preferred choice for all your educational needs. Explore our range of textbooks and educational resources. Visit us at the old GNTC yard near Kingsway, Accra. You can contact us on 0503 786 776 or 02408 06354, also 0531 600360, and connect with us on Instagram, X, and Facebook at Advo Publishing. Don't settle for less. Choose the best. Advocate Publishing Company, empowering young minds one textbook at a time. Thinking publishing, think Advocate Publishing.
Tucked between the vibrant energy of Accra and the scenic charm of the Kwabena Hills, our gated community offers the perfect blend of tranquility and accessibility. Welcome to Rehoboth Knightsbridge, where nature meets opportunity. Secure your future with fully serviced plots with well-tarred roads, reliable drainage systems, electricity, and water. Build your dream home in a community that cares for your well-being and safety. Indulge in premium amenities that redefine luxury living: a swimming pool, tennis court, basketball court, sauna, and steam in the iconic shopping mall, all within reach. It's more than just a space. It's your sanctuary in the city. Wake up to mountain views, take a jog under palm-lined paths, and experience the perfect balance of city access and natural beauty. Starting at just 450,000 cedis with flexible payment plans. Visit www.rehobothpropertiesgh.com or call or WhatsApp 024-476-4499 or 020-495-0810. Rehoboth Properties, quality housing for all.
Phobia, Minuanum penum for nemo. Say a sign, Yamena, a genie dear and a yin dear. Would you coswa shishini pano? Many abrepa. As a serious no mind any bread. Now, so for no switching a fat me huya. Now, ma a jumana huaba. A tantayo, not above 40. That is my opinion. The same way I mean to me I can't someone so for be as a for the okay, you know. The same way, and when the gospel is becoming nuisance, some of us we will let you know because for mine any a break. Se tell any who shall twat. No wait me a pound now one pound, no more do twat a cover your more. The home I go in and for so. Ɔman no so busa question. Yɛhunu yɛ na mutwam etwae. So please. Ebasa na mafi urada mpare. It took only one man and all the sanity.
System.
About system. Our about Omo ashro omo ma. Na asem we metia kaka che o mampani nti me gina ha ka ma anya fair to him. Emre bi baba Ghana ha Kumasi Accra o ba speed ya o de baba na ye be check. Emre tie ya utu hwi na beduru hata ma de tu Kumasi na ye check. Na beduru Accra ntem sa ye chewa esa o call remand. Passengers amotika ani mo amon report we say obo mu nyina amoka.
When peace like a
Anyway, you're live in Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. Remember that the show is also live on 94.1 FM. I'm here with Dr. Wensom Anaba, who's the MP for Garu. Let me say that we were billed to be joined this morning by Dr. Ezekiel Ejekumo of Bing of the New Patriotic Party. He is a member of the MPP's 2024 Health Committee, Manifesto Committee. Unfortunately, he's still not here. And we're still waiting for him to join us. So I'm sure that he's on his way. I believe so. I believe he's on his way. So, Doc, we're talking about this lack of capacity to conduct, sufficient capacity, to conduct DNA profiling or DNA forensics. Yeah. And you just explained to me that it's a symptom of a bigger problem, which is that we've not invested sufficiently in the health sector. And so this is just a symptom of some of those problems that we've had. But have you ever, in your own way as a medical practitioner, because of where you headed before the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, ever brought this up in any fora, anything of a sort, that look, we need to advance, our forensics capacity or capabilities?
Oh yes, we've had several meetings before when I was at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, and they were putting up the University of Ghana Medical School together with Rich Hospital. The plan was to make Rich Hospital one of the best regional hospitals in the country, right, with a second phase. The second phase of the Greater Accra Regional Hospital was to house very important equipments for subspecialties that were very rare in the country. That was the main project. And we even went to the US, Miami, to meet the team that was going to get us the money to build the second phase. And all these things were factored. Legon Medical School, the medical school there was also earmarked to have what we call a quaternary services. Right. And these are part of the quaternary services. And instead of them continuing with it, the previous government went so slowly. You remember how it got even a commission for them to start using it until the then minister got COVID. They were not using it. He had to go there. So I think that there were efforts to make sure this is done. Thankfully, the man and the party that thought of all these positive things is back into power, and we are willing, and I think our party is willing to ensure that Legon really becomes a quaternary hospital, and then Rich Hospital and others would be also resourced to take over some of the challenges that we are facing to prevent the export of sick people and then lab samples, tissues to abroad for investigations. We have very good pathologists in Ghana. We have very good laboratory scientists like Sego we are talking about.
We have good private pathology labs in Ghana that do a lot of good job. Prof. Akusa and co are all there. With all these scientists, I think we just need the infrastructure and the equipment inside, so that at least Ghana would save money from sending samples out. In fact, laboratory services is something that complements the work of doctors.
Yeah.
Pathology is something that complements the work of doctors, especially surgeons. And if you don't have full complement of the equipment to do proper diagnosis to aid the doctor to make a final determination of what the patient has, you may have to send it out. And that alone would need time. The turnaround time in attending to a patient becomes too long.
Yeah.
And the disease may spread further.
Yeah.
So I think that this has happened, unfortunately, but it will be a learning curve. It will be a source of motivation to really invest in getting some of these equipment in. It doesn't need only government, like say, to do it. We can partner with private sector. We can partner with people who have the resources to bring it in. Then we drive traffic of all those laboratories to those places, all doctors to those laboratories, to drive traffic to those places, so that at least the investment the person might have done or the government might have made at least would yield results for them. So I think there are plans, and that this will help us.
Okay. Now, before we took that breather, you said to us, in fact, you broke the news here.
Yeah.
And spoke to us about the issue of the first genetic database to tackle cancer research gap, which has now been set up here in Ghana. And I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
You're just telling me. You're telling me the importance of this.
Yes.
Before we took that break.
Yeah.
How important is this?
Normally, if you do this genetic database, you can associate every type of gene, because every cell in our body has a code to tell you what it is can be exposed to.
Or susceptible to.
Susceptible to.
Okay.
So once they do this genetic code database and put it down, then they come and pick your sample and do some genetic studies on you and realize that you have this code X on you.
Okay.
Then they see in the database, code X means that you may get cancer of the bone when you are around this age, possibility.
Okay.
So it's very important. Code Z1 says that it is possible you can get a prostate cancer when you are around age this and that. That is a possibility.
Wow.
When you are exposed to the risk factors and then the rest. And maybe code A can say that you may be developing some type of migraine at some age, or you may be developing diabetes and all that. That is what the database does.
Wow.
But the previous studies in the world had only 3% being blacks. Now what they have done in Ghana is that it is all blacks, 100% black people they use to do it. You know, this type of even height measurements in medicine and the rest, they normally use even the whites to do it.
Yeah.
Actually, if you want to follow the body measurements in medicine, they haven't used blacks to do it, and we sometimes miscalculate. Even BP measurements, people are proposing that we should do BP measurement using only blacks to see whether the values that they are giving us is the same. So this genetic database that has been done in Ghana on 100% blacks would help in diagnosing a lot of diseases that are yet to come in somebody. So you take your sample, they check it and say, okay, you are prone to this, so take precautions. Don't do this, don't do this. Thankfully, our government has come out with the Ghana Medical Care Fund, trust fund, that is supposed to take care of chronic diseases and then the rest. If we have this and we're able to study well, we'll be able to use primary health care to advocate for change of lifestyles and then the rest to minimize the occurrence of these diseases in those people. Okay. So I think it's very good. We have to embrace it and link it to the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, link it to the primary health care that is about to come. Right. And with that way, we minimize the risk of people getting particular diseases since their genes make them predisposed to such diseases.
So you go there, they take your sample,
they
get to know which code you belong to,
right.
And then they'll say, because of this code that you have,
Yeah.
you are predisposed or you're susceptible to these kinds of ailments going forward.
Yeah.
So be careful.
You get a primary healthcare doctor to advise you
on what to do,
on how to live your life, and then the rest. If you are somebody who is destined, predisposed to getting a liver cancer, they will advise you alcohol and other things, eating healthy diet and all those things. So that is a good.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. That's some breakthrough in research.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Anyway, so back to the issue that we're talking about, and how expensive is this advanced forensics lab, the machines? How expensive are they?
It's not the mere value of the machine that is expensive. It's the team working around the environment in which it's supposed to be worked around, and the rest that makes it expensive.
Right.
The reagents are also expensive because you may buy the reagent, it will last you some few days. If you don't use it, it goes worse.
Oh.
So the equipment, to me, like my political hero Fidel Castro says, the wealth of the entire world is less valuable than one single man's life. So to me, I don't see a medical equipment that will help reduce morbidities and mortality to be expensive. It is just that we have to get our priorities right.
Yeah.
However expensive it is, other people have it and they are making life better for their people. Lifespan of their people is better. Diagnosis is made easy. Treatment is made easy and faster. Let's get it. Let's do our best and get it.
Okay.
And then we use it. So I will not come to the exact monetary value of it, but the importance it has for the country. I think it's very, very important.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yesterday, Annie started an exercise, a very useful one indeed.
Yeah.
And it was actually what I'm continuing with, because I talked about the fact that we need to start asking what I call the critical, the big questions, the tough questions, the hard questions, and so on. She started yesterday, I'm really continuing. What for you, since this incident happened, have you been thinking about in terms of what questions have you been asking yourself? Of course, on the spiritual side of things, a Muslim, you're Christian. As Muslims, we say, "Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un." To him we come from, to him we'll definitely will go back. But in the physical realm of things, what have you been thinking of? What questions have been running through your mind?
In fact, having read about the pedigree.
Let me just quickly say that your colleague on the other side, he's also a medical practitioner, and he's also joined us. Doc, it's good to have you join us. It's very, very unusual of you not to turn up a bit late for programs, because you're usually very, very on time. I don't know what happened today.
Unexpected blockade on the roads. I'm very sorry.
That's fine.
To the platform and our viewers.
Okay, that's fine. So joining us, the man in your shot is called a doctor. He's a medical doctor, not school doctor. This is health doctor. So Dr. Ezekiel Ejekumo Openg, who is a member of the MPP's Health Manifesto Committee for the 2024 election. So once again, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you too.
Yes. So yes, you're talking to me about, I said, what questions have been running through your mind?
I said after I read about the pedigree of the pilots, I then asked myself, this definitely couldn't have been perhaps fault of inexperience.
So what it means is that initially, you were thinking, was the pilot experience enough?
Yes. Yeah. But after reading about his background, their background, even his co-pilot and the rest, I realized that there were people who understood the special movement. Then came my doubt, my questioning about what I heard from the ground, that everything, even including the framework of the helicopter, was turned into ashes, and that everything was just ash. Then I asked myself, what could have caused a metal to just degrade into ash, just like that? Because at least when a metal is heated to a temperature of 2,800 degrees Celsius, it turns into a mold. Before it can turn into ash, you need a temperature of 3,700 and something. Was that temperature up to that? And if it was up to that, like I said previously, then may their souls really find space in heaven, because
I know flight combustion is very flammable, but that doubts come to me. Was it that very hot in the natural atmospheric pressure to have that amount of heat to turn it into that? That is my worry. So I said, okay, let's just allow for a proper research. Then told myself, in any country that this happens, there is something will come out to explain. There's always something to come out. Good luck. The black box has been found. Definitely, there may be voices they may hear, what happened before. Even the story that it tried to land 2-3 times before it went to crash. All those things definitely will be discovered in the black box. And then I also think that I didn't need to speculate too much. My only worry was that the metals themselves turned into ashes. Yeah. That was my main. And that fragments were several meters far away from where the incident happened. What might have caused it, because if it crashed on the ground, and it should spread within some perimeter frame area. Yeah. Instead of that distance, some people were explaining more than 200 meters, 300 meters, and all that were bringing doubts to me. Was it something that exploded inside in the air before it lands? Because if it explodes in the air, yes, it will scatter very far. But if it explodes on the ground where the forest is thick, the shrubs and then the trees around might protect particles from getting that far. That was my thought. So I had that thought. But all the same, I'm happy we have a good team, a forensic team here to do the investigations. And as we've said, we've already contaminated the place. Crash site. Right? People rushing there, doing all what they wanted to do.
Somebody even took a watch.
Yes. That's so you see, it would make the investigation a little bit difficult. To make it a little bit difficult. So I would urge that anytime something like this happens, like abroad, we see they'll go and cordon the place. The military or the police will get there first and cordon the place and prevent anybody from entering. Even some of the pictures we saw, we wouldn't have seen it. Next time, we have to actually hold ourselves not to be filming those things.
Doc, I'll bring you in, but I've also heard some people ask that this is the defense minister, right?
Yeah.
So even in the hierarchy of things, the defense minister is over and above the chief of defense staff, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when such a person is moving, whether in the air, on the ground, or on the sea, shouldn't there have been an escort?
Right. Yes. They can be.
Because the man gets an escort.
Yeah.
On the ground.
Yes.
In the air, he's alone.
Right. Do we have those resources for 2-3 helicopters to be moving at the same time?
We don't know.
Right. So if he was supposed to have an escort that he's not having, the investigation would reveal it.
Yeah.
If per their protocols, their guidelines, he's supposed to have an escort, the investigations will tell us. That's why I don't want to rush in making any conclusion. I really believe in science. And science is the methodic process we use to unravel uncertainties. This was uncertain. Reconstructing the flight with the pieces that they have to assess it, checking for chemicals or whatever around the area, even chemical reactions that are taking place already, they can still reconstruct them. It can be done in laboratories, and then the rest to ascertain the veracity. The black box is found, they can play it back to see what has happened. If it is that the weather was really very bad and the pilot tried to move, we'll get to know it. So I would say, let's allow science to give us an answer. Speculations would create more confusion and make the scientists uncomfortable. So I would urge every Ghanaian to mourn solemnly with the families and then at least let's sympathize with them, and then let science work. Science has proven to give results to many things in this world.
True. But of course, we still have to ask the questions, don't we? Just
yes,
like you're asking.
Yes.
Whilst we're waiting for the investigators. Let me bring in Doc. Doc, we would first of all, how do you feel about everything that's happened? Just briefly. And then please join us and weigh in on the conversation we're having about what questions I've been asking ever since this happened. I have a few of them more, but you are a guest, so let me get your preliminary comments on the entire incident which has happened, and whether you've also been thinking a lot about this whole thing and what we could have done rightly or wrongly. I don't know.
It was really a very difficult moment. I quite remember we were in a meeting and started having a few WhatsApp texts that we've had such incident, and everyone present at the meeting, even though primarily MPP, work abruptly ended because really, even though it's politics, we are humans first. We together went to school before politics took us to opposing sides. And if you read the piece by Honorable Ayu Efriye, he recounted the fact that he sees Dr. Manibuama as a brother. And they grew up together. They ended up at the medical school in Kolebu together, and they were even roommates. So it goes beyond politics. So it really sent some shivers down our spines. And we couldn't believe the story at the time it broke. So we all took to social media and various WhatsApp platforms to see what people were saying. And in the end, the chief of staff came to corroborate the stories we had heard. So clearly, it wasn't one that anyone would rejoice over, regardless of your differences. I mean, you wouldn't wish anything close to that on your worst enemy, let alone people that you meet along your work in times of occasions you meet, you grow up together, you see each other, you share ideas. And I just recounted my days in medical school, how we suffered to complete medical school, did our house job, became medical officers and started work proper. And I just put myself in the shoes of Dr. Manibuama, who traversed the same path as some of us. And I cast my mind back to B block. He was in my hostel, except he was there before me. So I just recounted my days at the medical school hostel, B block specific. Dr. Manibuama walked the same path, slept in the same hostel as some of us. So it was a very difficult one to take, and it's still a very difficult one to take. I keep asking myself, indeed, the people are gone, and is it true, or we are still in some elongated dream where we would wake up one day, come back to life, and we'd realize it was all mirage. But day in, day out, the reality keeps dawning on us to say that indeed we've lost such honorable men, people who did not set out to go and do politics. They set out to work for the country, and to lose lives in that manner in the course of service to the country, it's quite heartbreaking. I don't know how we can have closure to this. I don't know how we can move on to this. It's a part of our politics and governance process that it will be a very difficult history to always remember. And it's going to be with us, I think, forever. We would always cast our minds back. We talk of people who lay down their lives to fight for independence and sovereignty for us as Ghana. And we will still remember our 8 gallant men who also lost their lives in line of duty to the country. So yes, it's still a very difficult one to take. And like I said, I hope we would wake up one day and it would be some dream we are still living, and everything will be a mirage. And we can only pray to God and ask for a special prayer for the most affected immediate family, the most affected extended family of the deceased persons, and the government, especially the president, the NDC, and the whole of Ghana. We are all in it together. This is the time for nationality. This is the time to see ourselves as Ghanaians. So we are all in it together. Let everyone be rest assured, honorable, and people of the NDC side, that this is not the time for us to be divided. We are strongly together as a people, and we would continue to remember and cherish the memories of the persons we've lost. And I think Ghanaian Times did a very good job last Friday for the other persons, because when the news broke, yes, it's always the bigger fishes that would capture the headlines. But the headlines of Ghanaian Times on Friday, they rather had the other 4 people that we rarely mention as their front page. And I think in times like this, yes, let's remember everyone. It's life, and everyone is important. So the military men or the servicemen and the other people who do not have the clouds of Honorable Dr. Mani Boama and Honorable Mitala Mohammed are equally part of the boat, and we need to accord each and everyone the needed space in our discourse. So yes, kudos to Ghanaian Times for what they did for the other 4 on Friday.
For you, what are the questions we must be asking?
Clearly, at what height was the aircraft traveling? Because the little physics we did, the higher the distance, the much more momentum or gravity it would act on, and it would enforce velocity, momentum, and all that will come in. And how tall, how low were the trees? Because we are getting a lot of contradicting stories. Some say it hit a mountain, others say it hit trees. So at what altitude was the aircraft really traveling? And if it hit a tree, how tall was the tree? And would the tree have given that impact to that extent? Because it's very difficult to even assemble the little parts of the aircraft left. So I'll be much more interested in the altitude the aircraft was traveling and what really occasioned the impact on the aircraft. And like Doc rightly said, probably it even exploded in the air before coming down. With the little physics we've done and looking at the place, the geography of the place, mainly a cocoa farm, I can't really think of having huge tall trees in cocoa farms. When I cast my memory back to my village and the cocoa farms we visited, hardly would you find such giant trees in there with such height to have occasioned such impacts and to that extent. We all know how the gasoline for aircraft, how combustible it is compared to other fuels. But really, what occasioned the impact? Did we have the impact at high altitude? And gravity, momentum, velocity all came to play to, give us the picture we are seeing. So at this point, it's more about chemistry, what occurred, which reactions took place. It's about physics, at what altitude, what was the impact, the acceleration and deceleration that really acted upon the aircraft, and taking the geography, the immediate environment where everything landed. Can we go and test the soil and test probably the space around to see how much impact the earth even suffered? They all come together to give a picture of the kind of impact the aircraft suffered and how much velocity momentum acted on the aircraft in the process of landing on the ground, to give us a very good picture. But for what we've seen and the kind of impacts, the remains of the aircraft and to an extent the human bodies, you could tell that the impact was quite high in terms of where the aircraft was traveling, in terms of altitude. But of course, we will still wait for the investigations and what the investigations will reveal. Some of us might not have the opportunity because it's a sensitive issue and it's about national security and whatnot, probably people high up might have insights. But I would wish maybe, I mean, the investigations, whatever it reveals, will trickle down for some of us to also have insights to, you know, help us understand the little questions we have to better understand issues. But of course, there is still a lot of questions that need to be answered. And you ask some of the right questions. Could we have had a backup in terms of an escort and honorable justice to it? Are we prepared? Do we have enough resources? How many aircraft do we have? And should any emergency of a sort occur up there, how feasible is it to transfer the people from one aircraft in the air to the other? So yes, they might have thought about it, but in a scenario like this, I don't think we would have had the luxury of time to even transfer other people. The best the other aircraft could have given us was perhaps what really happened in the air. But in terms of the human transfer onto a different aircraft mid-air, I doubt we would have had the luxury of time to evacuate people from one aircraft to the other, looking at the little space we have in terms of what's really occurred. But we will still wait on investigations to see what really transpired and what lessons we can learn. So unfortunate that the 8 persons would have to be subjects of, should I say, you know, a little lessons being learned by the state. No one would want to be a reason why we would have such lessons to guide the future. But we'll still wait for some of the answers from the investigations that will be carried out.
So the flight left the Air Force Base at 9:12.
Yeah.
We're told, at least that's what we've learned. So all things being equal, the flight should have arrived at 12 minutes past 10, based on what I call the normal travel time with the heli. Now, does any of you here know how we found out that there has been a crash only around, it's been after 2, I believe, around 3 p.m. thereabout? Because you heard yours around 4 p.m.
No. I think it was after 12. After 12 there, around 12.
You heard it around 12 something?
Yes. At the time, we had it 1 p.m.ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but Doc, you heard yours
I
around...
heard it late because I went
you
for
had
a
meeting, the
meeting
long meeting.
and put my phone on silence.
Yes.
And I came out after 2 something, getting to 3.
Yes.
Then that is when
Because,
I
you know,
heard it.
apparently, per the Civil Aviation Authority's manual, 30 minutes after a plane crashes, Civil Aviation should be aware. And immediate action taken in tracing where the no, I'm just asking, we're just asking questions.
Yes.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
Per their own manual. And it's there.
It could be they,
So why
they heard
2,
it
3
earlier.
hours?
It could be they heard it earlier, but to the largely the public.
So question is, when they heard it, we want to know what they did, right? What the immediate action they took.
Sure.
That's when the investigation team would come out with.
Yeah, would come out with.
Let's wait to see. Because if they heard it and there were 3 ministers on it, let's say 2 ministers plus a national security coordinator with all these top military officers inside.
Yes.
They would definitely like to be concrete sure
of when exactly
because people call to say an helicopter has crashed, this person has died. No. They have to really understand who were really those inside and whether they've really perished before they come out with a statement.
Yeah.
So it could be that they heard it. I'm thinking so. But they were keeping it. But you see, from where it happened, even communication from there back to town is a problem.
True.
It's a problem. And to send another helicopter there was a challenge because we don't know whether it was the weather. We don't know. How do you send another helicopter to go there to rescue if you don't know what really caused that? That may also be another challenge.
But Doc, I pardon me.
Yes.
You know, I'm just thinking aloud. I'm just thinking aloud. So, the helicopter, in fact, I'm told 4 minutes before the incident happened, they are spoken to the, I think it must have been the MC or so, that they were almost there. So I'm just thinking that if you're expecting the helicopter to arrive at 12 minutes past 10, right? All things being equal. It's 12 minutes after 10. Let's even say 10:30, granted. The organizers of the program would have known that, look, the thing is not here, so something is wrong. And that's even assuming nobody at the, wherever it is, whether it's a base or wherever it is, nobody was even told that there was a problem. I mean, couldn't the Ghana Armed Forces, because you see the route, the route to, and again I'm saying pardon my ignorance, but I'm just thinking aloud. The road from, and here I'm talking about air route, right? From the Air Force Base to Obuasi, I'm sure it's just one. Unless, of course, you want to do a detour and so on. There's only one familiar route, let's put it that way, right? So couldn't the Ghana Armed Forces have quickly activated one of their aircrafts, one of their helis? That's assuming we have them. To just say, at least you just go and find, because you see, you talked about altitude, the height. Yeah. They would have at least picked up something happening on that route. So if you bring it to our route, the route that we have, I'm going to say, I know, so somebody's going to Kumasi, we know the route. Yeah. We know that this is the route the person is going to use. In Sawang, blah, blah, blah. If the person has arrived in Kumasi at that time, shouldn't somebody be driving on that road to find out what could have possibly happened?
Right.
That same route. And if there's a problem, you would have noticed. Instead of waiting till you get all these details, well, you don't have time, like you said.
I actually believe.
We
clearly understand. We understand you, but like Honorable said, if it was due to bad weather,
yes,
would you want to risk another aircraft?
No, but there's a bad weather.
The same zone.
No, but there's a bad weather.
Yes.
But you have dispatched an aircraft through that bad weather to Obuasi.
I believe at the time of the incidents,
the weather was fine.
People in authority heard about it. But rather, it was a matter of information management. That's what I believe. I'm entertaining the scenario where before everything broke on social media and radio and traditional media, the presidency had come to announce it. The shock would have been unbearable. Allowing the thing to go on, whether rumor, whether confirmed or unconfirmed, it sort of prepares people's mind.
No, Doc, you're not getting me. You're not getting the point I'm making. My point is that the flight was supposed to arrive at a certain time. It hasn't arrived, so there's a problem. So even if you don't hear from them, there must be a quick follow-up.
Maybe they knew what had happened.
Yeah, you remember they said
what had happened.
They lost track of them.
Yes.
They said they lost track of them.
Yes.
Definitely they might have started doing something.
Yes.
Then remember to the Ghanaians, we have one character, we have one problem when it comes to time management. Perhaps those even at the event site, if they were even late, they wouldn't even think at all that something might have happened to them on the way. They think the usual lateness of we getting to events could be one of the usual things. And those also at the Air Force Base, perhaps haven't lost track of them, they will be trying to establish. And now that the flight is completely destroyed, how are they going to establish? They would have to wait and hear from bystanders or those who observe the incident happen. And looking at the place it is, before they can call to report to get to the Air Force Base and then the rest, it will take time. And when it happens, they will also like to confirm before they even transmit the news to the Flagstaff House. That is my thinking.
Yeah, and possibly engagement with Jubilee House, that this is the situation. We are still working around it to really ascertain what had happened. So it becomes a situation between the armed forces and Jubilee House, how to manage it and what steps were being taken. I believe behind the scenes, some actions were taken that
So,
we are
so
not
are
privy
you
to.
are you two suggesting that even if the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority and the Ghana Armed Forces had learnt, let's say around even 11 o'clock that the thing had crashed, or 10:30 that the thing had crashed, there would have been a difficulty in tracing exactly where the thing happened? And also we must begin to ask ourselves the question of whether we had a spare car to move quickly. Once in the air, figure out what to do, whether to bring the people down, as we see sometimes during the 6th March, where, you know, they throw, there's this thing, it looks like a
rope.
Yes, a rope. You know, they throw it down, and then they come down quickly and see whether they can rescue. I mean, they couldn't have done all of that.
That's still part of the questions.
That's still part of the question. So I would say science, the investigation team will give us some answers. Right.
And again, help us. So back to the issue of chemistry. What is this explanation we're hearing about the body bags? If we're taking the body bags there, they would have, the temperature there would have melted it. And so the only option we had was the cocoa sacks, the jute sacks.
I'm trying to figure out
to put the charred bodies in.
At what point did we go in for the remains? If we went in there immediately after the impact, your bet is sure that the temperature was quite high in terms of the remains.
Okay.
And anything plastic, especially light plastic, stands the risk of being melted.
True.
With such high temperatures. But looking at, with all that we are saying, I believe at the point of collection of the remains, just opposing that to the time the incident happened, I believe there was time for the temperature of the bodies to have reduced. I rather believe that the community people rather wanted to help, and in their quest to help, they rather, because they are primarily cocoa farmers, had the sacks at their disposal, and they went in there as Ghanaians as
now
we
why
are.
Not small?
Come again?
Why not small?
It's the Ghanaian nature to want to help in times of situations like that.
So if you collect the remains, where are you taking them to?
So rather, there should have been a communique, and the security agencies probably barricade the immediate environment of the impact to create, in quote, what we see in movies as a crime scene, and prevent people from getting access to the crime scene. Because yes, like Doc said, you know, encroaching the crime scene, you risk contaminating evidence. You seriously risk contaminating evidence. So I believe security agencies, even if we're waiting for special deployment, vis-a-vis NADMO or Ghana Armed Forces, should have barricaded the immediate environment of the scene and prevented people from getting access to the impact area.
And unfortunately,
but the question is,
okay.
The question is, did we have such security, presence at the scene?
No.
And no, people would ordinarily want to go and help. We are Ghanaians. But the absence of the security to demarcate the area is what, you know, fueled people's, genuine quest to help to enter the place and collect the remains. But as to the temperature difference, I would want to know at the time of the impact and the time of the collection to learn properly the state of the bodies in terms of temperature at that point. Is it one that the bag could have handled, or the sack? But I want to know the time difference and the temperature difference. But if it was immediate, then anything plastic risk being melted
and
as compared to
I'll need some information on something. And maybe Annie, you can help me with this, because I also want to ask. Of course, I do not in any way want to impugn any ill motive on the part of the residents. I think they meant well. That has to be put on record, so that I'm not misunderstood or misconstrued. When the incident happened and the bodies got burnt, unfortunately, sadly. Now, does anybody have any information? And Annie, please, if you do, let me know. Whether the residents immediately rushed to the scene And when they rushed to the scene, did they go there to collect the dead bodies or to look for something? Wreckages, perhaps, because we know about the guy who said, as for him, the watch, that's what he wanted, right? Well, that's what he liked. Or it was after the regional minister and the local assembly people, including MCE, went to the top and saw the situation for themselves. That was when a directive was given that please collect the remains and put them in these sacks. What do we know?
From first respondent, before my senior comes in,
yes,
the farmers from the interviews we saw clearly stated that.
Okay, so people, before you go ahead, I'm told there's a video which will help with our. We are thinking aloud. Yeah, sure. Sorry, we're thinking aloud. So let's watch this video first.
Yes, sir. No, pani you confirm na baby for so ben forest no. Enti ebra ye wo for man ye ti se bibia blast tie ya bi se play na verse ne kona na ahwe fom. Tie be kona yakọ se bi obi afra to no hia mo bia ye ti.
Edi kai mudi kai hu play se play bi ba.
Play ni ba. Aha, yi din kai hu se play na ba. Enti ancha na play no e blast ye gbugum. Tie ne ye nim se play na ahwe fom. Enti ye be kọ forest won yakọ na obi hia mo bia ya boa no. Ampa mene bla ba ko e fra ni jasi. Ene ye se ye kọ. Tie si forest la na ye kro na. Ana o ka kire me se obi ba. Tini pa kro no me hwe ya na ye madam fo ba ko ye fra ni Gideon. Ono oba ma ne ode boy an se pray na be se na tiato. E me gya dem a e hye. Ne emu ni pa nyina ahye. Tie ye se won ko kire ba bia pray ni. Tie bra ode ye kokora no ono kora no won se hu ba bia pray no kora no. Etoto ya ode ye kontie ne nam forest na. Ani ye kwa ya ne nam me pono so a ne ko se jane de wo soro. Ijane de wo soro. Tie ye kwa ya no na ye no kwasem na ye pray no atofom e boduam wo soro. Duam e wo soro. Tie bo mu sa no na te be hwe fom. Atofom no ejatom ama ye kwa ne na de enipa ye di nka hu no ba ko de no wahe. Wahe masabe ne hu nyina hye ama wono da ho na ba bia pre ne te atithwe pa na ne gane dende ne yentimi hu nipa o mugu ho but ne gane so gane na de kase pa nti ne yentimi hu enipa wo mo ho baba ko ne de na egana hye no ama wono oda nchen na ba bia ne gane de pa ne de ne yentimi hu nipa wo mo ho ba pre ne de na ne nyina hye pre ne de nyina hye
enti eba sa no na moye ni pasen die mokoduro die na moye
die koduro die ansa me koduro na me nkurafo enti eno achi ana bla ba ko ba na efe no ba wo mia wo krom ha ya oba ho no okurafo ana ye se okurafo de a fra samle man na bona man ye se de asie ni ba ye de ye wa ha ye ne de information ma assembly man se de asie ni enti anche ye hu de na fa de dom bebre na mokwa no so ba na mokwa no so ba
answer na meja wono se Dampaya forest ni
Dampaya forest ni semusa baskama brofid Dampaya no
enti ususu se anopa be tamben
ba me de na me watch e bomi ya na mabaya dafo ma na me donti na watch ne momme enti madwene mu de na ye tan be tan mu
10 am
tan be pa ho kra na mpa ho kase bia sa anopa tan
tama muhu plane no oboase na eko aha so nya oboase na musa na aba fom sesen
e pa cho ba bia ye gina odu oni hwa ha ya efri ya na eko ye ni ayefo da anu se no ye ti plan enti wo hwa sabi po ye si hoi sabi po ye si wo tintin ya bipo ya menu mienu gina bontim ha ya ni tuai eno so na plane etitoye eboduam e wo soro na ti be hwe fom ti dua na ebo mu no kura tutu medua no e da wo hwa e bonko mu no soro pa na plane etito fom na blast ye ti ye ne ko hu ye ne de ne jadam tutu
ana me de ba do kakra nti me sa ba se me sika nti me du wa na hu se me se me sika na hu se plane dan e ba
na if you side the bay
if you say me fe akra okay akra sa na e ba bo ase na me say me kwa na me tu no me say Ewurade hunu mobo man fa nkopem wo sa be kwa na ewa so ntem me be 8 years to 10 years bi bai ma o si ma aba fi ya party we so enti Ewurade me sra hunu mobo na mana adwe den on san na chi enti second sam say bra na me say Ewurade o me de apem
na say all koni nyina hu say
me hu na me say me sekan
ba na bosu esi
bosu na esi pa
okay
na me say on to no bo me dey say ma kuma na me kam say Ewurade hu mobo me kan mo go bi dwan go bete me say Ewurade hu mobo no on san na dey mana adwe on san na chi na sabi so oko I want you to kopem wo
people na
wa boss me na da na wo fom be say be kowe mi ansa
people no
Daddy,
helicopter.
No.
Okay. So that's a bathroom.
In the area, all the back. And the two brother and from our house about. Let me say, what else? Sorry. Who plays a pain with you? Or from a woman is a plain and a shopper. Oh, for a cinema. Also, when you call them saying, was I saying? Make by mailing me who the other airport. And it may sister mienu ane graba ko bato na me say sister mo te say premier ko pre na hwe e wo policy no enti ye ben then also yankwe na boy na nka me no ko no ara usuro na me say o de ma me so no mando na me ko mbe bi enti me dra na mo say boys bi ara ba me so masa mo ko no so say na dey SB yanko oni ina ko so ampa when me be say lazy see we be say asa me kan me boa anasa me boa that was a wonya kokuro ya ko hwe that
o say e bi esi had like
me 8 years ni e bai no na munukum esi say a enti ono ko ya kodu ba bi no san achi e bai so we samai ana o hwe park no me pese park na dey a balance kakra enti mo fu park ni bi si ani na ono akan mama amete se sabi impressa park na enti oba na o hwa park nje ha na obi si ye ma na aka sai ama yin na ate enti on tro me ka se Ewurade kalo godu anasa nko mana adwen.
All right, so you're still live on Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television, and my understanding is that Colonel Festus Abuaje retired, who is a security expert, security analyst, and also conflict resolution consultant as well. He's joined us. He wants to make a quick input into the conversation we're having. Now, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Kif al-haq.
It's always good to hear from you, sir. You've been listening in. Please let us know exactly what you want to say about the conversation we're having, sir.
Thanks a lot. First of all, let me once again express very sincere condolences to the bereaved families and to all of us as Ghanaians. I think a lot of us are speaking out of context without having knowledge of some of the pertinent facts. And what I'm about to say is not just that, it's not that I know the cause. First of all, we know that this plane took off at 0912.
Hello?
And remained in Accra until the 6th.
We lost you at some point, so if you can repeat what you said, sir, kindly.
Now, okay. Yes. What I'm saying is that we know for a fact that the actual time of departure, Alpha Tango Delta, was 0912 hours.
That's correct.
14 minutes into the flight, which many Ghanaians wouldn't know, the plane went off radar. But let me quickly state that when a plane is off radar, it does not mean that the plane has crashed. It simply means that based on its location and the surrounding terrain, and maybe weather, the radar covering the area cannot pick the location of the plane. That's all that it means. But 14 minutes into the flight, it went off radar. If the plane was expected to arrive at Obuasi after 50 minutes flight at about 10:02 hours, at 10:02 hours, the plane was not there. So per standard protocol, an alert was made. And I'm aware personally that the Ghana Air Force called Kumasi, and when I say Kumasi, I mean the Central Command, to say that there is a plane. Of course, the Central Command knew because some of the elements in Kumasi were already in Obuasi, where they also have an FOB. Have you seen the flight? That was 30 minutes later. Per protocol, after 1 hour, if the plane is still not found, I mean its location, then the distress call is made. That's the protocol. So every substantive action to find the plane technically started after 1100 hours. Now, what did Central Command do? The FOB at Obuasi was told that you are expecting the plane at Long Clay Stadium, Sports Stadium. So if the plane is not there, can you go to the Ashanti Gold airfield and see whether the plane is there? That was the function the FOB played. Then 4BN was directed now to deploy a search team. Now remember, the soldiers are not sitting down in barracks, sleeping. So you need to find them, quickly mobilize them, find the transport, and then start moving from the location of Central Command 4BN Afari area there towards Sikamai. It's not 5 minutes distance. To cut it short, the team led by the commanding officer of 4BN got to the crash site at 1400 hours, 2 p.m. The regional minister got to the crash site at 1500 hours, 3 p.m. Now remember, from the start, I had estimated that the plane crashed about 0953, 0955. By 10 o'clock or 1000 hours, the plane had crashed. When it crashed, the farmer or farmers who were in the forest, plus some civilians in the village who had seen, as you had just shown, were moving to the area. So the locals had a lead time of 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, which is 4 hours. It is not correct for anybody to say that the military did not get there and allow the civilians. The civilians were already there. Either they were on the mountain or they were in the village, Sikamai, and were moving there. Nobody could have prevented that. It is out of curiosity, out of our indiscipline, out of lack of knowledge and so on, that when they got there, they started, removing critical exhibits from there. Now let me take another angle. Remember on another news file Saturday, I had said that a second helicopter should have been deployed, or a second aircraft. At the time, I didn't know. But Ghana Air Force has an Mi-17 Russian, bigger than the Z9. That was based in Tamale for Boko crisis duties. Oh. It was task ordered to move from Tamale to Kumasi, which it did. By the time it should have taken off for an aerial reconnaissance or aerial search and rescue, it was already clear in the media that the crash site had been found. So that plane did not stay there. At about the same time, General Headquarters or High Command ordered the CASA 125, which is a transport plane, to move from Accra to Kumasi. When it did, it moved with the preliminary investigation team. That was the plane that we saw back in Accra with the coffins. Anyway, when the 4BN team, went to Sikamai, they went with 2 ambulances. And there was another ambulance that came, probably with the regional minister, who also came with the fire service and so on. I think the police came with another ambulance. So there were 3 ambulances. Those ambulances had body bags, at least the one from the military or whatever it is. So those were the ambulances that were used. And I want to explain that ambulances should not take dead bodies, but under certain circumstances, they can convey dead bodies. After that, the ambulances need to be sanitized, fumigated, and so on. So there was nothing wrong with that. They took the bodies to the Prempeh the First International Airport, Kumasi. It was there that the bodies were transferred from the sacks that we saw into body bags. Then the plane and put on the Casa 125, which took off. Now, all the preparations that we saw at Accra, coffins draped with Ghana flag, happened in flight. See it? The coffins were not prepared on the ground. In fact, the coffins had been ordered at the instructions of the CDS from Accra, not from Kumasi. The picture one gets is that if you piece the timings together, circumstances did not prevent anybody from being at the crash site in 30 minutes, in 1 hour, and whatever. Per protocol, all actions substantive started at or from about 1100 hours. And then it took another, let's say, 3 hours for the troops to be there. Anybody will tell you, even the regional minister moving from Obuasi took about 2 hours. And then another 1 hour through the bush path to get to the site. In a way, the presence of the locals helped us to be able to identify the crash site. Let Ghanaians remember that at Atiwa, it took 3 good days before we knew where the crash site was. So the local community were a blessing. They played a positive role, including joining with the military or the recovery team to recover the bodies or body parts from the slope where the plane had, crashed. But on the other hand, they also played negative roles, because the protocol is that no exhibit must be tampered with. They must lie where they are. Because the investigation team, during the forensic analysis, will be able to build a picture as to how the plane crashed and how its parts were strewn, including the bodies, were strewn here or there. Finally, let me say that in that general area, and I think we all saw the hills, in that Obuasi general area, the highest peak is 1,250. Accra is 200 feet above mean sea level. Obuasi is 1,250. The crash site or impact site is 725 feet above mean sea level. So this high ground, we know also that the accounts say a bo esi. And we know what the boy is. It's fog. So the plane was not flying in daylight. But what GMED had told us that July and August were going to be this or that, misty, rain, storm, whatever it is. That was the kind of condition that it was flying through. We know now that there were 2 other helicopter flights moving in the southern part, which all emergency landed. One aborted, the other one continued. We know that even yesterday, a Volta River Authority helicopter, it happens to be also a Z9, but the original one based on the French Dauphin model. What crashed from the Ghana Air Force was the Chinese, if you like, Chinese model. So the conditions have not been very helpful. Naturally, I think any one of us who wants to speak must speak based on the context of what it is that the situation actually was. So if we are not very careful, for instance, It is good that the regional minister was there as head of the RESEC. But the regional minister and the RESEC are not the search and rescue team, and they are not investigation bodies. They don't take operational and tactical decisions. They take political decisions. So even if they are there, even if the CDS himself was a Sikaman, it was not in his place to be interfering with the work that the team leader, in this case, the commanding officer of 4BN, was doing with the search and rescue team. We need to understand that. There was no need to hurriedly remove the bodies and any part from the crash site. And under the circumstance for somebody to say that, let's use cocoa sacks. There was absolutely no need. The bodies should be there for the investigation team to come at minimum, peg their locations, do the photographs, and then recover the bodies. Lastly, Moro, it is not true that the bodies would have melted the the body bags or the cadaver, pouches and so. It's not true. It's not correct. They are heat resistant. You see, and let's recall that the crash happened at 1000 hours latest. Now we're saying that by 1400 hours, 1600 hours, and we know that the bodies were being made late in the evening, that the bodies were still smoldering and couldn't. If that was the case, and I maintain, because I'm also from the village, if the body heat could melt the body pouches, they could also burn the cocoa sacks. By the way, they were carried by human beings who were not burnt.
Okay.
So we must not have any excuses as to why bodies had to be put. Look, the protocol is that one is dignity. One is securing the bodies and their fluids in order to preserve the evidence. And then 3, to also stop contamination, for those who are carrying the bodies away. In a way, there were lapses. But it is not as if, nobody played their role. The Air Force didn't play its role. The Armed Forces didn't play their role. National Security didn't play any role. Police didn't play any role. Now let me say that we know the use of cocoa roads. Because when we saw, indeed I'm told, that the National Fire Service tender actually slipped off the road that we saw it moving on, and probably has still not been recovered or has been recovered later. You see, so these are some of the contextual, facts, which unfortunately for the armed forces, which are always silent, cannot come out and tell everybody. But indeed, that is even a bit of a breach, because we need constant updates. And it's not too late for the armed forces to catalog all the events from 0912 till today. What they did, what we have found, what we have not found, what remains to be done. It helps to carry Ghanaians along, rather than this palpable silence, that as usual, we are faced with. But I thank you for the opportunity.
And I also want to thank you very much. In fact, we want to thank you very much for this very, very important and useful insights, as far as this conversation is concerned. So that's Colonel Festus Abwaje, retired. He's a security analyst. So please, you're still watching Good Morning Ghana. Please stay with us.
NGO Logistics and Supply is your trusted partner, providing seamless solutions for all your procurement needs. From sourcing products to managing imports and exports, we ensure smooth and efficient transactions every step of the way. Whether you require goods from across the globe or need assistance in exporting your products to international markets, we got you covered. General trading is at the heart of our expertise. We specialize in a wide range of products, catering to various industries and markets. As a trusted dealership in building materials, we provide high-quality products that meet the demands of our construction projects. Additionally, we act as manufacturers' representatives, connecting producers with distributors. Our expertise in logistics is the backbone of our operations. We plan and execute transportation and delivery of goods, ensuring they reach their destination on time and in optimal condition. NGO Logistics and Supply, guaranteed satisfaction.
Wabedum time aso. Hey, J. Watch it, na learning. Missy, watch and learn. Makwai ma besisia. Abozege. Akache say no ya konate and the more drink woman. Hey. But I didn't mean. Oh, sorry. She knew her old days. Hey, Dabi o, baby wom. Ready? Hey, baby wom. Ah, Aji. I'll cause some discomfort. Sorry, uncle, where would the dad? Why your funeral? At your phone for Aerofield Trading. Sorry, it killed them all.
No mum share nanda danya was mosquito call esudu womunumu. Na say spray with them musa. Chaisima edronum ansana ko dynamo. And kratoi FDA ajatum.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. You're on a kessi and in a kit one.
Samayo kendini ehu behia se metwa sapapadia to ama me manfo Kel Charcoal's natural ingredients ene bom me se ho ban e ma ne sren ne sanso mama hotoso e wo bedwam.
Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Choose Kel Charcoal Toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth and fresher breath all day. Available in 80 gram and 150 gram. Grab yours today.
Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Hi, my name is Fred McBagon-Lurie, President of Academic City University in Accra, Ghana. Academic City is at the forefront of technology development. Here at Academic City, innovation and ingenuity blend seamlessly with innovation. We respect knowledge. Knowledge is power. And once Africans start to internalize knowledge, you see the level of development that we attain here. The Tycoon Africa Conference is a convergence of influencers and professionals from across the continent, folks that are interested in marketing and ICT. At this conference, you meet marketers from across the African divide, from Southern Africa, from Zimbabwe, from Kenya, from Uganda, and of course, from our beautiful country called Ghana. I will be speaking, and there will be many other professionals and experts who will be sharing the African experience in marketing and ICT. This is an opportunity you will not want to miss. At this conference, you will meet people working at the forefront of AI, ICT integration, using new tools and emerging technologies, marketers who are at the forefront of pushing this agenda, and more importantly, it will be an avenue for us to
You're live on Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. Let's just do this quick messages and then we'll get to some other issue. Now, greetings, Moro. It would seem that inter-agency collaboration is not as strong as it ought to be. Another West African language, another West African challenge. The adoption and implementation of technology is very important. Technology cannot solve everything, but it is a very important tool in today's security and safety management. And then this one here from Sani Sali, who says that the use of jute sacks to collect and to contain the remains of those perished heroes was just improvisation in the absence of body bags and other medically approved wrappers. At that juncture, not even a champon leaves, which is used to cover and temporarily preserve dead bodies, could have saved the situation better than the improvised sack. This is so sad. May Allah have mercy on them. Good morning. Sani Saliu sends that message. And then this one from Farhan, based in the UK. He's a regular viewer of the show. He says, good morning, Moro and esteemed panel. I think that the heart of your question rightly probes the possibility of procedural lapses, ranging from initial confirmation to laboratory analysis that may have followed the crash. If such errors are identified, the imperative becomes clear. Our conversations must shift from reaction to reform. We must ask not only what went wrong, but how our systems allowed it, and that must change to ensure it never happens again. Moreover, I think your questions to these discussions must be rigorous, transparent, and solution-oriented, engaging stakeholders across aviation, emergency response, and regulatory bodies. Only through such collaborative introspection can we honor the lives lost by building safer, more resilient systems for the future. Thank you for making this uncomfortable conversation bearable, and thank you very much for sending us that message. Now, Carlos, I've seen your message, but I think it's too personal, Carlos, and let's you can send me something different, but this is too personal and it's not right. Anyway, so let's so apparently there were some self-styled men of God, prophets, who foresaw this. They saw this coming. They've been looking for the people who would be ultimately affected to tell them that this is what is going to happen to you at so and so day and so time. But apparently they called and called and called and called and called, no response. And so they think that they are not being taken seriously. And then also, secondly, perhaps the persons who have lost their lives did not do themselves any good by not answering their calls and responding to their WhatsApp messages. Now, the presidency, through Elvis Ifriankra, who's in charge of interfaith and ecumenical relations, has said, no, this must stop. If you have any prophecy which has national security implications, come to us and let's discuss it before you go public. Is that the way to go, Doc?
Thank you very much. Moro, you see, I've always looked at religion to be the practice of one's faith. Whatever you believe in, you practice it, it is a religion. Our traditional parents used to practice their own way. Israelis, the Europeans had their own practice. The Middle East, the Arabs had their own practice. Now we tend to have so many people who have that, claim they have those natural powers and connection with God more than all of us, to an extent that they give themselves titles. I know before they call you a doctor, GTech would scrutinize it.
Yes.
To see whether you are a doctor. I don't know whether FEA would also look at it to see whether we must have a clear down rules guiding how you should be called a prophet. That's been done elsewhere. Walkigami. Even before you set up a church, there must be a process, because he believes that sometimes we abuse people using religion. I'm not saying that all pastors, fathers, imams, traditional believers are bad. But in every society, the account will say, Mensa wo, and if you be a Mensa wo. And the Mensas are becoming more than the rest of the family now. Some of these prophecies, I don't know why it is always about bad things. I don't see why somebody cannot prophesy that tomorrow Ghana will set up a Samsung manufacturing factory. Or say that, oh, somebody here in this school is going to become an engineer to build the first train in Ghana.
But you mind them if they told you that?
No, you see, but why is that it's always about bad things? I am seeing it like some people feel that some of these prophecies are becoming a national security threat issue. Because some of them may force you either to succumb to their prophecies and do what they want, or they find a way of making sure that what they prophesize happen to you. And we shouldn't get there. Because some people have gotten an accident. They say, you call people to tell him that and that and that. Okay, yes, science, like we are doing, when they investigate and see where the problem is, they'll profess solutions to prevent another helicopter crash. Okay, your prophecy, it has happened. Why won't the same spirit that you have give you now the power? The next time you see it, you should be able to reverse it so that it shouldn't happen. That's the question I will ask.
But do they have the powers to reverse it? He's only telling you what is going to happen.
So the same power would not tell him that if you do this, it will be reversed, it shouldn't happen again?
The power hasn't told him that yet.
That's where we have our problems. The prophecies in Ghana are more than scientific discoveries in the world. I'm honest. No. The prophecies you get in this country, Africa, they are more than scientific discoveries or peer-reviewed publications in the world. If you follow it keenly, every Sunday, every church, some churches will prophesy something. Even if there are 1,000 people, they will have something to say to the 1,000 people. So some of us, we are not saying don't practice religion. It is your faith that you are practicing. But let's be circumspect. Let's not try to overuse it, abuse it, to an extent that even some believers would now tend not to believe in what you are saying.
Okay.
I would beg that, yes, they should call the religious heads together. Let them really at least take time in coming up with some of these things. Sometimes it's just like you want to buy some fame for yourself.
Yeah.
And you are not. When did you speak to Sego? He came here. Do you know what Sego has done, discoveries Sego has done in the science laboratory? You don't see him being projected and the rest. I know him. I know scientists in this country who have done a lot. I know people who are developing AI in this country. They never appear in radio or TV or anywhere. And you go through the cell phone and you are using their applications. They are not known. They even used to transmit some of the prophecies that we are preaching. But those ones are not sold out for the young boys to imitate such people. But now everything is about a religious prophecy. Science, like Otabil says, is what God has uncovered. Then we use what? Science to uncover. And he said it very well. If you want to believe only in prophecies, I beg you, we won't go anywhere. You can ask China whether they believe in prophecies before they got there.
And I think the media is guilty on this. We also give these kinds of prophecies a lot of mileage.
Get some quips from the media too.
Yeah, well, they are people. Yeah.
I really want to know what.
Do you have a prophet friend?
I'm a Christian and I come in contact with
them from time
men
to time.
of God. So I know a couple who are prophets.
Okay.
Yes, in the fivefold ministry, the prophecy is a giant pillar.
Yeah.
Of the calling.
So you have a pastor, you have a teacher, you have an evangelist, you have a prophet.
Yes.
And then you also have an apostle, isn't it? So those are the 5 categories.
The five main pillars.
I see.
Yes.
But why is it the prophets are the ones who are always under some kind of criticisms?
They are the seers, and they are the ones that speak.
Oh, you mean the foretellers?
Yes, the mind of God. And if you read through the Bible, anytime God had a message for his people, it's the prophets that are used as conveyor belts to deliver such messages. So it will always be the prophets, unless you are not a prophet, but at that particular moment, the unction of prophethood falls on you and God delivers a message through you. But there's a twist to it. Our political party is not, corporate. in this? Don't we see how we exploit religion in our electoral process and things that even the Bible admonishes that if you are praying, go into your closet and in the quiet of your closet, your private space, deliver whatever information or request you have for your Father, and the Lord that listens to you in privately would answer your request. But here we are, we telecast live sessions with men of God to achieve what? I don't know, but we all see the political angles we take. So if in seeking to lead a country or to win political power, we exploit the role of pastors and men of God and prophets, and we later get powers, and they are still doing their job, why should we have issues with them? We use them as political cards. We telecast live things that are supposed to be in private. We telecast them live to see pastors, men of God, laying hands on political figures on national TV, social media. We exploit them politically. After winning power, they are still doing their job. And God is giving them messages. Now you tell them, no, come and see me. Who is in the position to vet any prophecy? Is there a super prophet at the presidency to vet prophecies? And I know as a Christian that its prophecies are not preordained. That I know today I'm going to give this prophecy. Some come spell of the moment. During ministrations, they come. And the prophets will tell you that, in fact, whatever they were doing at that material moment, they were not even aware. So yes, they were consumed, quote unquote, by the Holy Spirit. So if the Holy Spirit led me to give that prophecy, which I myself am not aware of being used to give that prophecy, am I going to be held responsible for disclosing certain prophecies that came through the Holy Spirit during the spell of the moment, and I was unable to control it and send the message to the presidency? I believe we are still mourning, and sometimes we take certain desperate measures in times of difficulty as this. And there's a fallout from the incident that happened last week. I would plead with the powers that be that let's please manage the situation.
That's fine.
And where we are, heading
management was kind enough to gift us some 10 minutes. We've exhausted it. So I want to thank the two of you very, very much for joining us this morning for the show. But just a quick one. Just this morning when I was coming, a friend called and said I should forget about the prophets. And I said, why? I said, well, 5 years ago, he bought a car. And his own prophet called him and said he should bring the car for him to bless it for 3 months. After blessing it for 3 months, he can use it. Otherwise, the car will crash. He's been using the car for 5 years. He said he didn't take it. Yes. Anyway, so thank you very much for joining us on the show today. And that's Dr. Ezekiel Ejekum Obeng. He's an MPP member for the 2024 Health Manifesto Committee. And also Dr. Wensom Anaba, MP for Garo. Thank you, sir. He's also a medical practitioner. Have a good day. My name is Audible. Assalamu alaikum. Bye-bye.
When sorrows like sea billows roll